be exactly what you want to be without all of the fear around you. We have to stand up together.
So let's get this show started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Jason Sisneros. Welcome to another episode of Built to Exit podcast with me, your humble host, where we talk about all things exit from, and who's this for? Just in case you're this the first time. There's a lot of first time people watching. And so who is this for? It's for the person. We operate under the premise of simple thought called exit. Everybody exits. How matters. And so if you're new, or if you've been watching the show for a while and you want to know what that premise means, it just simply means that nobody is going to take their business with them. Somebody else is going to own your business, or it is going to be dissolved. Okay? The majority of businesses that are out there, they are dissolved. Why? How do I know that? 95% of them don't see their 10th birthday. That means that they go away completely. Okay. And usually along with that, the things that you don't hear, because this is an overly optimistic group of people, the things that we don't talk about, the things that we don't say, is that there is a lot of pain following every one of those what we call involuntary exits. Everybody exits. That's an involuntary exit. And there's a lot of pain. There's debt to pay back. There's embarrassment. There's a lot of relationship issues. There's houses that get taken. There's divorces that happen. There's an entire wave of destruction that goes behind a business that fails. I know personally firsthand, because everything I just said happened to me in my first 3 exits, right? And they happen kind of bang, 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 because I was a typical business owner, thought I knew everything, really didn't know what I was doing. And it was pre the idea that I didn't know that everybody exits. How matters. I was going along with what was easily consumable, right? Which is your gurus that are out there, all this free information from people. It was before I started to realize I needed to do due diligence and ask questions and all of the stuff. And so that led me down a very predictable path, which is what 95% of people do, which is go out of business. And so as I grew my next set of businesses, I learned some lessons, as you do. Really, that's where, as you get into a business, you've owned it for 3, 4, 5, maybe you might be at that 10-year mark, and you're like, man, I've got something somebody wants to buy. There's a swarm of people that are telling you that they want to buy your business these days. And, and I had a dictated exit, which means I sat down as a business owner. I was like, I was full of cockiness. I've got 3 bonus points that I'm going to tell you at the end of this, if you're one of those owners, by the way. I was full of cockiness because, yes, I had gone out of business 3 times, but now I had a business that somebody wanted. And instead of learning from my first experience and having some humility, I was like, I have a business that you want to buy. Okay, I'm in control. Having never sold a business. What an idiot. Okay, having never sold a business, not knowing the process, all that other kind of stuff. Well, predictably, I got my ass handed to me. Let's talk about a pile of money for just a second, okay? Because that's this entire premise of this show is around you making sure that as the business owner, because you're the heartbeat of Built to Exit. You're the heartbeat of why I do what I do, because we change the world in so many ways. I love merchants all the way back from in the beginning of time to now. I believe most of the good things in this world have come from merchants. Life saving, life extension, housing, food distribution, all of that has come from the minds of people like us that owned a business and were looking to ease suffering and make a profit along the way so we could take care of our families. So in so doing, that's my family. That's who I speak to every single Saturday, like clockwork here. And one of the things that I want to talk about, why we're talking about this broker situation, is because I want you to view your business and think of it like a pile of gold coins, right? And when you get ready, you're working your ass off. You're falling in love with the outcome of your customer. You've gone through the foundational work with us or with somebody that helps you get past your own blocks, right? And you get the thing optimized, and you're just stacking up those coins. You're just stacking them up, stacking them up, stacking them up. And finally, you get to a place where, remember, 95% of the people that pile of gold is swept off the table. They don't get access to it after 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years of working hard to put gold in that pile. It just disappears, right? It just poof, it goes away because they went out of business. All kinds of reasons, okay? There's a million ways to go out of business, very few to keep it going beyond 10 years and then into a sale. So let's imagine that you did a good job, right? And you've stacked this stuff up and there's a pile of gold there. And as a business owner, you did that by being a great business owner and by doing the thing that you do really, really well, right? Everybody exits. Now I would just talked about involuntary exit, and then we have the dictated exit, which neither one of those are preferable. And then the third type, which is what we do, which is what I learned that I wanted to do the third time around, which is a custom tailored exit. I studied every move of every private equity firm. You see in these shows, I do a lot of research. I know a lot of deals, backwards, forwards, inside out. I know the people. I've reached out to them. I've been to a couple of nursing homes where some of the deals that I talk about, those people were in nursing homes, and I go and have conversations with them because I'm fascinated about by the art of the deal and making it work. And that obsession became an obsession for me because it was my businesses. I never started out to read a book and become some guru that was going to make all of my money, the only money that I ever made, from pitching some kind of a program, right? I've bought lots of gurus programs that didn't help me for shit, made things worse, actually. Not how I started out. How I started out was making a living for me and my family and learning the hard way by going bankrupt and then by getting my ass handed to me in a dictated exit, and then finally getting to a place in 2019 when I had my big custom tailored exit, which went exactly how I wanted to in 3 areas. Write these down if you're new. You want to control the price, the timing, and the terms of the deal. And if not, okay, go back to that pile of gold that is your business. You've spent years, you've sacrificed, you've had arguments with your spouse, you've missed trips with your kids, you've not been to a couple of the games, all of the things that you did, you've slept, you've sacrificed. Maybe you're sitting, with 30, 40 pounds on your belly because you ignored your health a little bit, right? Maybe you're smoking, whatever it is that you sacrificed to build up this pile of coins. And now you're to a place where you're like, all right, I want to sell this pile of coins, cash in, and go live my life. I want to do what's next, what we call the horizon, which is definitely a program you're going to want to learn about. But the horizon is what's next after that happens. And so you're looking at that pile of coins and you're like, okay, I've got this asset. I want to trade that in. I want to get paid, right? And I want to go do what's next. Whether that's passing it over in succession to your kids, to employees that you want to sell to a private equity firm, which, by the way, I always reference as the best buyers. There's like 500 or 600 of the 7,000 that are out there that are really, really good to deal with. And the rest of them, there's some shadiness that goes on. But, and you got to be really, really careful, okay? You got to be careful with the top 500 too, because they're always trying to get a deal. But so you've got this pile and you go into it with a sense of arrogance. You're like, I built a company that was worth buying, right? And you go, and you've got that arrogance about you because you figured out how to deliver a product and or service well enough to be able to do what you're about to do, which is sell your business. Okay, you've got it. You listened to what I said. You said, okay, Jason said I had to get my relationship to my customer. This is what a buyer wants to know. Solidified, predictable, did that. Jason said I needed to get a team put together where I wasn't needed in the thing. Did that, done. Jason said I needed to get my finances clear, concise, true, and accurate. and transparent. I did that. Boom. Jason said I needed to put together a killer exit plan. I did that, and I've actually even done some pre-work out there for the next buyer. I'm ready to sit down and have this conversation. Great. Now, remember that pile of gold, which is what you stacked up, you're going to cash in. There is an entire industry, and I'm going to go through some of the things here towards the end, and I'm going to do an entire show next week on all of the hands that are going to go into that pile. I'll give you some ideas, but that pile, because you don't know what you're doing, the higher your arrogance level, okay? Arrogance, ignorance, emotion. When they're high, your intellect is low. And so if you go into this thing and you're like, I have built a company, and I've seen this over and over and over just this last couple of weeks. I've heard it on the phone from people. They're just like, yeah, I'm really smart and I did this and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm going to sell my company and I don't need a broker. I don't need any help. I don't need any advice. Okay, that's great. You're going to get your ass handed to you. Okay. What's going to happen first? Okay. What's going to happen first if you are an arrogant or ignorant business owner, as I was, and you decide you're going to do this yourself, which I can understand with the jokers and the clowns that are out there calling themselves business brokers. There's some good ones, but the ones that are out there, I understand the frustration, trust me. But you need the help, right? You need the help, or you need to learn the information yourself, one of the two, and sometimes both. I think it's better for both. And so you sit down and you go, okay, there's this pile. I'm going to do it myself. The very first chunk that I'm going to go in and I'm going to siphon off of that table and take that money is going to be the amount of money you could have sold for if A, you knew what you're doing, and B, you had a broker that knew what they were doing. Okay? Hi, my name is Jason Sisneros, founder and chairman of Built to Exit, a world-class business consulting firm that's helped hundreds of clients and thousands of business owners fix, scale, and successfully master their companies. Let me ask you a question. Are you serious about changing the direction of your business, but you don't have the funds to bring in a high-level consulting team? Well, then keep watching. We created the Built to Exit system specifically for entrepreneurs like you. Whether you're a startup trying to avoid costly mistakes or a seasoned owner stuck in a plateau or a downturn, this do-it-yourself system is your answer. Now, this course isn't easy. It's not a gimmick. It's not sugar-coated motivational feel-good fest if you know me at all. It's a graduate level masterclass built from decades of business ownership, consulting, and real-world results. If you're willing to do the work and follow the blueprint we use with companies that pay us 5 and 6 figures, you will finally have a system that gives you time freedom, financial control, and a clear path to a successful exit. So if you're serious about building a business that works with or without you, go to www.b2xsystem.com right now, because everybody exits. The only question is how. So all of a sudden that pile gets smaller by, I would average 60%, because people are rushing in, they're acting like they know what they're doing, and you've got a lot of great buyers out there that are going to pay because they look at your asset as an undervalued asset. Every time you hear that, when somebody's really excited to buy your business, they call it an undervalued asset. That's because they know the business owner and the broker don't know shit from Shinola, and they're going to pick up an asset at way less than they could. Okay? So the very first thing that happens when we work with people is we want to keep that pile as big as it can by driving up the value, taking advantage of those 4 areas, controlling the price, timing, and terms. We want to keep that pile the size that it can be, but that pile goes down usually by about 60% just because of arrogance, ignorance, and a lack of understanding about how these deals work. Okay? So you move that off where you could have got a multiple of, let's say, 8 to 10. You hear somebody, right? I know a guy. This is another big one. I know a guy, and that somebody that is, think of it this way. In the art of selling your company, think of it like your most important hire is the architect, okay? That's my nickname in the business community. It's because I like to architect outcomes. I'm going to ask you, what do you want to do? I want to sell my company for $30 million. Okay, let's look at what you've got. Oh, you got an EBITDA of $2 million. Let's architect to where we can get that thing to be worth 5 million, bump up the multiple just a little bit, and let's get you $30 million for this bad boy. Okay. And then you architect that. Along the way, as you start to sell your business, there's a whole bunch of I know a guys. Okay. A whole bunch of I know a guys. Now in the architecture world, it would be like you going to build your dream house. You've bought the property and you're going to go out there and you run into not just a plumber, but a plumber's assistant. And you say to that plumber's assistant, you know what, I'm building, there's some swamp stuff going on over here. I've got some trees I need to knock down. I've got this blah, 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 blah. I want it to be 3 stories tall. I want there to be this pool. And the plumber's assistant is going, yeah, that's probably going to cost you about $150,000. Okay. The plumber's assistant doesn't know shit. Okay. There is an ocean of people who touch deals in the sale. There's the person who has the assistant that gets the coffee for the person, that puts together one scenario in one of the states where you own a business, and they're doing that for one line item for the person who's actually doing the brokering on the deal that may or may not get used in the thing. And now they're on Facebook. That assistant that got the coffee is now on Facebook doing things like, I was associated with a $100 million deal. You didn't do shit except for get the coffee for an assistant of an assistant that didn't give you shit for Shinola, and it didn't even get used in the report in the final end. That's who you're dealing with. You've got to be careful who you're dealing with out there in this world. Okay? So that pile of money that we're talking about, take 60% of it and throw it off the table, because your multiple is going to be lower than it should be. Okay? That's one. Now, the rest of it goes because you're listening as a business owner. You're going to go, oh, I know a tax guy that told me that things are they're selling for a 3 multiple in window cleaning businesses. Okay, and you listen to that. It's great that they're a tax person. It's great that they've probably seen some deals, but they have nothing to do with the architecture of your particular outcome. Nothing to do with the architecture of what you want to have happen. And there's ways for you to architect with whatever business you have, ways for you to architect exactly the amount of money that you want, okay? And exactly the timing that you want, with exactly the terms that you want. There's ways to do it. But it does not start with you as a business owner, me as a business owner when I was younger, saying or acting like you know anything about how to do this until you've studied it. Your business, you are the master, you are the king, you are the queen, you are the paraphernalia of your business because you figured that part out. This is an entirely new education that you have to put yourself through. Entirely new. You have to learn new skill sets. You have to be different in conflict. You have to be know how to do due diligence. You have to understand what a leverage buyout is. You have to understand the difference between the people that are putting deals on the table. You have to understand when people are making offers and they tell you that you're going to carry 80% of it. Where's the 20% coming from? Do they know how to run a business? When they take this over, am I going to get a small amount now and I have to be around for? You have to understand this. Secondarily, you got to have somebody in that deal that knows what the hell they're doing. Okay? We know what we're doing. I'm obviously self-promotional here because this is the shit that I do every single day with my team. All day, been doing it for years, do it for myself. My wife and I are business owners. We're buying, we're selling, and we happen to have a consulting firm called Built to Exit that can help you as well. There's other people that can help you, okay? We're not the only one. But the point is that there's a lot more people who don't know what they're doing. Most of you, don't ever get past the arrogance part of knowing that you've built a good business and going, oh, now I'm stepping into the rookie seat, right, of selling my business. I got to learn some stuff so that you get that pile so it stays what you've earned, okay? Instead of wiping 60% of it off just because you're in a portion or a deal where the buyer is going to know more than you, okay? Let's move past that. And you want to make sure that you're not talking to a plumber's assistant when you're trying to architect your future, your business. Great, you have a friend that's an attorney. Great, you have a friend or know somebody in the tax area. Great that you have somebody that knows somebody that did a deal at one point in time. Not the people you should be talking to when you are doing your single largest, most important transaction of your life. I've seen it fall apart. We're dealing with companies that have fallen apart post-close where people are getting filing bankruptcy. Because they trusted somebody, a clown of a broker that just wanted the fees, didn't care about the deal, who sold to somebody they didn't do due diligence about, and now that person has drained the company out of cash, put it into bankruptcy, and then handing it back to the old owners again with about 20% of the cash that they thought they were going to get paid out. It is very sad. I don't like watching it happen. It pisses me off every time. But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility as a business owner to take complete and total responsibility for you, for your asset called a business, and where it's going to end up in the future. Okay? Whew, that was a long lead in, but I have to, if you see yourself as one of those business owners, trust me, I'm not like trying to put anybody down. I was every part of this. I'm not trying to say that if you're arrogant, you should be proud of the asset that you've built. I'm not taking any of that away from you. But when you listen to the wrong people and you think you know what you're doing, I'm just telling you that's going to lead to pain. You may actually get it sold, but it's going to be for way less than you could have gotten. And there's going to be terms that are not going to be favorable, and the deal may fall apart post-close. I just see it happen more often than not. It's over 50% of deals that are signed on, the initial deposit is paid. Over 50% of those fall apart post-close. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's get into this. How do we go through this broker information? There's a lot of brokers out there. There's a lot of people that tell you that they're going to help sell your company, and we got to be able to filter through the joker broker deal. Okay. Now think about this. Remember, 93% of businesses never sell. And that's the ones that get put on the market, right? That's not 33 million businesses that are operating right now as SMEs. 33 million of them, not all of them are up for sale, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe 20% of them are up for sale. Of that 20% that are up for sale, only 7% of them ever sell. Of the 7 that ever sell, only 50% of them don't fall apart post-close, and they actually do the thing that it said they did. Now, that 50% that's less, I would say the terms are, generally speaking, not leaning towards the business owner. So it's all I'm saying here is that this is in a topographical map. There's a very pinpoint accuracy of where you're trying to get to, and there's a 1 or 2 maps of how to get there and to defend yourself along the way. Most business brokers don't know that there's even a map. They want your initial fee, right? And they should get it. Like a good broker should, because they're gonna market your business. They're gonna put work into it. It's gonna take them. So there should be some fees that you pay up front, and then they're looking for that. Hopefully they close, right? A good broker, in my opinion, a good broker can only handle maybe 20 clients at a time. A good single broker. Now, if you have a company, that kind of goes up because there's so much heart, there's so much energy, there's so much detail that goes into, if you're going to really broker a deal and do the work that's necessary to sell a company, you have to have 2 things. A broker who knows what they're doing and the heart to serve you, the business owner, and a business owner that is humble enough to take the advice of somebody and to not be arrogant or shoot the deal down, along the way because somebody says something bad about their ugly baby. All of those kind of things. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in that space. So most business brokers are not regulated. Okay, this is one of the issues. Everybody calls themselves a broker. There's very few that are really, the ones that are good are busy. Okay, the ones that are good are busy. The ones that are good have to force open a door for the right deal, even the right deal for a business owner to be able to come in and kind of make the case. Why should I take you on? Most business owners are so ignorant and so arrogant and so tough to deal with that it filters out. I would say 90% of the people that approach us to help them sell their business, 90% of them we're not going to take, because you have to be ready to be coached. You have to be ready to change some of your behaviors. You have to be ready to take some advice that maybe you don't want to hear on your business. So it's more of a qualification to people who actually can help you. It's more of a qualification for you to prove why somebody should take you on if they're a good business broker. If a business broker is like, I'll take one, I'll take all, probably not the broker that you want, because they're going to take your money, they're going to throw it up on some website, they're going to put together some shitty little, either video or package and go, yeah, I've marketed it. And then next year when it's time to re-up and pay the 50 grand again, they're going to resell you on the fact that they're out selling your business. Make this decision very, very diligently. There's some business brokers that are out there that work at McDonald's, no shame, but work at McDonald's during the day and then call themselves a business broker at night. Okay. Too many in it for listing. Again, if they're just in it for your listing and they don't qualify, if there's not ways that a business broker is trying to eliminate you as a client, again, that's sort of our process. It's like, oh, you're not going to stick with it. Oh, you're an arrogant asshole. Oh, you're, blah, blah, blah. You know everything. Great. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you in a year or 2 or 3 when you haven't sold your business, or when you did sell your business, it's unwinding and you're having to take back your business to redo this all over again after having no money and your reputation run through the mud. We'll see you then, right? Or we won't. Or you'll just go out of business and not get paid and they'll file bankruptcy, right? So you want to find somebody who gives a shit about your legacy, somebody that has been in your boots or is in your boots, like we are, that understands how hard you've had to work to get something put together in a way that somebody wants to buy it. You want to make that decision. See, I know it's funny, as I'm putting these shows together, I know some of my shows are wildly popular because I do get to a place where I just want to lift everybody up and kick ass and let you know how amazing you are. And then there's other shows that I do that are meant to filter. Right? This isn't going to be one of my most popular shows. Why? Because I'm telling people that they are the problem. I'm telling business owners that in order for them to get the thing that they ultimately want, if they've even decided what that is, called their end game, and given it a price, if they ever even get to that point, right, then they're going to have to change kind of who they are, how they behave. They're going to have to learn some new stuff. They're going to have to take some coaching. They're going to have to sit second fiddle in the project that they've built their whole entire life and put humility before, there's just so many. At the end of the day, I don't want to spend a bunch of time with me and my time, my company, my team. We don't want to spend a bunch of time with somebody who's going to blow the deal and we're just wasting each other's time. We don't want to do that. You want somebody who cares about your legacy. We care about your legacy because we have a legacy and we care about all of the deals that we've done with our own companies. Okay. So what are some red flags? Offers only a listing and gets paid before the deal closes. These could be any type of fees that are paid before the deal closes. Obviously you want to put most of the success fee into the sale of the company and it happening and you getting paid. You want to put that in. If you're going to get paid in chunks, you want to make sure that your agreement is that your broker is going to get paid in chunks as well, instead of they're going to get paid the whole thing while you wait for your payments to come out. And there's no exit plan. You got to make sure that there's a solid exit plan. Are you a business owner running hard, burning out, and still not getting ahead? I'm Jason Sisneros, founder of Built to Exit. I've bought, built, fixed, exited over 24 companies of my own. I've helped hundreds of business owners do the same. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably didn't start your business to be trapped in it. And yet, here you are, overwhelmed, underpaid, drowning in noise from fake gurus and recycled advice. Been there. Built to Exit isn't just another course. It's not a magic bullet, it's a system. A proven blueprint built from real-world experience, not theory. We help owners control the three things that really matter in business: price, the timing, and the terms of your exit. Whether that means more cash in your pocket now, more freedom starting today, or a full-blown exit strategy that lets you walk away on your own terms, our team knows how to get you there. So if you're done guessing, done with the excuses, and ready to win, visit builttoexit.biz today to schedule your free 15-minute strategy call with a senior advisor. We'll show you exactly where the leaks are in your business and how to fix them, because everybody exits. How you exit is the only thing that really matters. Builttoexit.biz. We play to win. Do you? And they might talk fast, but they avoid the metrics of how they're actually putting together the valuation of your business. You want to make sure that they understand it. We just did a show last week on 7 ways to value your business. There's lots more, but ultimately you have to have somebody who understands what your outcome is and then gets the valuation in the form that puts you in the best place to be the driver of price, timing, and terms. Okay. There's a story, this Revco story. I might spend a little bit more time on here. I wanted to put in the idea of a good broker and a bad broker in the term of deals. And this Revco deal that I have studied forward and backwards, inside and out, and ups and downs, and the curves and the turns. It's fascinating how many lessons you can learn if you dig into the Revco deal, because it actually has a bad broker in the beginning and a good broker at the end. So it's got both stories in one. And you look at this and you go, okay, what could a bad broker actually cause? Okay. You look at Solomon, there was a few brokers that were involved, but this is a big deal back in the day, 1987. There's the Solomon brokerage company was the one that was driving this kind of at the head, right? And what they were really worried about was what? Cash, getting cash. So they put this business that had been around, great reputation, did a wonderful job. They put it out there. They leveraged the shit out of this thing. Like 1986 is when the deal started. 1987, so they got paid, got their fees, went away. Didn't know how to run it post-close. Didn't know how to do the post-close transition stuff, all that stuff. So by 1987, they go into bankruptcy. 1988, they're having to fire people. 2,000 locations closed. Right? This is what happened post-close. Now the owners, the ones that were supposed to get paid, they didn't get paid. Now think about it. The Revco pile of money. They put this deal on the table. They had some people that were self-motivated and selfish, and those people went in and they took off 90% of that cash and put it in their own pockets, because the people running it didn't have control over it, didn't know what to do, and they didn't know that they were hiring shitty brokers that were clowns. Okay, took that off. Now the thing's in bankruptcy. Now somebody has to come back in, which is the rescue, right? Which is what I've done my entire time. My career has been a turnaround specialist. People that find themselves in bankruptcy or on their way to bankruptcy and need massive amounts of help. Well, that's where Sam Zell steps into the Revco story. I think in 1989, I printed out some, not printed out, I looked up some stuff on him. But he came in, Sam Zell came in, and, like we do, he raised some money. He came in, he turned it around, and was able to, within 10 years, he was able to, I think it was by 97. So he was able to turn it around like between 89 and 97, and they sold it to CVS. A lot of the CVSs that you see out there right now happen to be old Revcos. Right. And he was able to turn it around and turn it into, I think it was a 2.3, let me see, I don't want to get the number wrong, but it was like a $2.3 billion exit to CVS. So there you had a shitty broker, a broker that was a clown, that was just in it for themselves. They were in it to basically rake the company over the coals, get rid of employees, get rid of locations, get rid of assets, put all that cash in their pocket, and leave the underlying business swamped in debt so that they couldn't survive, so they couldn't make payroll, so that they couldn't pay their bills, so that they could not compete and move on and grow, which is what you hope for your company to do, is to go on and survive and to be able to make money for the people that are working there. Okay, so this was an interesting one, this Revco deal. I'm not going to spend much time on the next one because Ben and Jerry's, their exit was done right. The negotiations, if you jump into it, they were really focused around legacy and mission and structure more so than how much money they got. Matter of fact, they took the lower paying deal because the people that they sold to agreed to things that were important to the founders: the legacy, the mission, the structure, who worked there, what they would stand for, what they wouldn't stand for, what would happen to their product, the quality of the product. And so they ended up having a broker who understood that and negotiated all of those points and laid out some options for them on the table and said, hey, this one not meeting your terms, okay? Price, timing, terms. This one's not meeting your terms, but the price is stellar. It's up through the roof, okay? And they're willing to pay that for you. So they got price and timing, but they didn't get terms. And then went to the next deal and said, look, you got the terms here, but the timing is going to be a little bit longer. And then the third one, which is the one that they actually chose, said they're going to pay a price that's fair. They're going to give you the money when you want it, and they're going to follow every single one of your terms. And that's the deal that they took. That's the difference between having a broker who knows what they're doing and gives a shit about how you want the deal to go, okay? They're there to help you determine what is your outcome. What are you trying to sell this business for? What are you going to do with that money? If you want a paid off house, you want a paid off car, you want to paid off kids' education, you want to do all that stuff, that's great. That number, it's $15 million for you to survive to 120 years old, plus pay all those things and blah, 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 blah. $25 million. Great. Now what we have to do is go back in. It's going to take us 18 months for us to clean your business up to get to a place where we can get a $25 million sale. Somebody that says how long it's going to take and is honest with you is worthy of working with, right? Not just us. I'm promotional of good brokers because they're very rare. I'm promotional of them because there's a lot more businesses that need to get sold than we can handle ourselves, right? So just knowing that outcome is super, super helpful. So that's a great outcome. Not all wins are measured in dollars. Sometimes it's about your name. Okay, that's what happened with the Ben and Jerry. Now, how do you identify a good broker? Okay, there's lots of real brokers, but how do you identify the one you want to work with? No commission until it closes, and then that close is segmented as the owner get paid. So if it's 15 payments, they get their commission in those 15 payments, not all up front. They certainly don't get any of it before the close of that. And you have to negotiate those fees dependent on how much work they're doing to actually sell your business. There's costs, there's expenses. You should pay something up front to a good broker, to get them to be able to do the work that's necessary. But they provide you a structured process, right? Step 1 through 0. In our process, we have 52 video steps to go through in pre-exit. We have 52 steps you have to take. And that's only after you have optimized the core business, okay? If you have to still optimize your core business, you're looking at 24 to 36 months if you still have to optimize some of that. But that pre-due diligence, that's 18 months. Like I said, we have 52 videos that I created from all of the exits that I've done that are step by step that lead you to price, timing, terms, ownership. We call that the gauntlet. They help you identify and build your business for exit, and there's no FOMO or pressure. Like if there's any pressure on you to sell quickly, that's a huge red flag. A good broker is going to slow you down. They're going to slow you down because you're probably There are some very, very smart, intelligent people that come across my podcasts early in the game, and they're like, oh shit, I need to start, planning for my exit now. There's some of them that exist, but the rest of us are hard-headed like I was, and it's going to take a health issue, divorce, a partner issue, finance, the economy changing for you to go, oh, I need to sell my company now, which at that point it's usually too late. But if you do get ahead of this, start now. And anytime anybody comes in and says, you got to do this quickly, that's a red flag. That is a sign of a broker who is not very good. You have to make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's. This is not something that you can flippantly do. You should not buy this in some kind of a funnel. You should not buy this from somebody who hasn't done a bunch of exits. You should not buy this, in the packaging, in the ways that you learned how to sell, maybe, those kind of things. You want to make sure that this is done with a professional and a group of professionals, not just one. Let's see. So, I talked about this a little bit. We're architects. My entire career, from when I was a turnaround specialist to then when I started buying companies that needed turned around, to then doing a consulting firm for 15 years that we helped do turnarounds, and now into Built to Exit. We're architects. We architect the outcome that is very unique to each owner. Okay, I could tell you this: it's not going to be about the jet. It's not going to be about the $17 million mansion. It's not going to be what everybody else puts all that bullshit, horseshit out there on social media. It's going to be about freedom, and your freedom has a number, and that number is far smaller than you even realize today. Okay, that freedom number is the very first thing. And it has nothing to do with outside stuff, has everything to do with an internal directive that maybe you haven't found yourself. That's step number one. We fix the broken businesses before it's listed. We help to control the 3 levers: price, timing, and terms. Blah, blah, blah. You should use us. We know what we're doing. The self-promotional stuff that is necessary sometimes. But you want to make sure that you make this decision correctly. Okay. These are the ones that I said for smart business owners. They blow their exits. They're very smart. But arrogance, ignorance, emotion. Those are the 3 things that blow deals. And if you go into this listening to, I know a guy, or you just do industry standard multiples, or I can do it myself, you are going to, that big pile of money that you've worked so hard to build is going to be greatly diminished over the experience. You might get some of those gold coins. You might get some of the money. You might get it when you thought you were going to get it. You might be satisfied with it, but I'm just telling you that I think, totally anecdotal, and there's very little to back up what I'm about to say, so take it with a grain of salt. But my opinion is that there's probably, of the businesses that sell, I would say that 5% of them get the money that they're worth. That's just my opinion. I've seen so many deals go through. I've studied so many deals. I'm like, oh my God, the people that bought this got a steal. The people that sold this got their asses handed to them. I say that way more often than I go, the seller got a good deal, right? Way more often. So our mission, my mission, your mission should be to get the optimal amount that you possibly can for all of that hard work, sacrifice that you put in for your business. And don't tell yourself the normal things. Like, again, I know I'm talking to a lot of business owners. I'm talking to very few of you who will end up being our customers because, at the end of the day, this is hard work, and you have to build it into something worthy of buying. And then you have to be able to go through that next almost personality transfer into the one that can be able to sell it. Very rare, very few of you will be that. But what we want from you is to get better and get better and get better. Feed your family better, but better homes, better businesses. Over time, build something that you can build, and then tell people who really are trying to sell their company that these things can help them, and that we're out here to help them if they need it. Okay. What else we got in here? Yep, you could do the pre-assessment. August 1st, this is going to cost some money for you. So if you want to do the free assessment at builttoexit.biz, go there. But as of August 1st, my team is putting it behind a paywall. Your business is either a wealth transfer to you or from you. Everybody that wants to help you with your business, including me, upfront and transparently, we want to make some money off of optimizing the sale of your business. And that's really where you want the desire to be. You want that to be aligned with you. We want to help you sell the company for as much as possible, getting as much money up front as you can, because that's how we get paid. Very transparent, very transparent. If most people, though, want to sell your company and get paid for doing nothing and hope that it sells someday. Be very, very careful between the two, okay? Builttoexit.biz. You can send us an email, info@builttoexit.biz, if you need anything, if you have any referrals, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, lots of different things. You can go to jasonsisneros.com, find out where I'm going to be. I would love to see you in person. Lots of stuff coming up, lots of TV deals. I've been working my ass off at the gym because I'm going to be on TV, and I know that adds 10 pounds, and that's 10 pounds I can't afford to show on TV right now. So I'm working my fat ass off in the gym, trying to get some of this king weight off. And we'll be on TV a bunch, and then we're going to be doing a bunch of events, live events. So I'd love to see you, love to give you a hug, love to give you a high five. After this, right now, in about the next 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to lock this up here, and we're going to go over to Twitter, X, @the_J_Sisneros. You go there, that's my handle, @the_J_Sisneros, letter J, @the_J_Sisneros. And pinned at the top, we will have the spaces, and it'll be called B2X After Party. Come join us. Let us know who you are. Let us know what you do. Lots of people doing business with each other in that room and getting to know each other. Great, awesome place to be. So I'll see you there. And if not, we'll see you next week, where I'm going to go into all of the places that you can leak money, that pile of gold that you're trying to keep for yourself and your family and your retirement, so you can live to 120 healthfully. We're going to go through all of those kind of in detail next week. All right. Have an amazing day. Thank you all for sharing the show. We're getting in the 20, 30,000 views over on Twitter. And that's only because those of you that have been my loyal followers and loyal audience and doing real shit with your businesses, my real rebels, have been spreading the word. And I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. God bless. And we'll see you next Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just like always. Peace.